All right, this is a big piece of clay for me. This is a little over 7 pounds. And this is my reclaim that I just collect from trimmings and cuttings. And I've been wanting to throw a big bowl, and I don't know if I'll be able to do it out of this or not. But I guess now's when we're going to see, aren't we? So thought I'd film it, share it if it comes out, and if not, nobody will ever see it. But I'm pretty sore from throwing that porcelain. Really not used to doing bigger pieces. Excuse me. But I really want to throw bigger pieces. My muscles just don't do what I want them too much anymore. They never have, but. All right, this is reclaimed. This is porcelain. This is some speckled clay. And this is Buff Plus, which is from Bracker's, which is just a buff clay with grog in it. I'll tell you, it's kind of damp. I'll try not to get too much water in it. Been trying to get it dry enough to throw, but it's also soft enough I don't have to fight it too much. I just work with it a little bit here. But I'd really like to get a bowl out here, more of a wide bottom, wider, flatter bottom. Let's see if we can get there or not. I'm breathing heavy already. Oh. Try to slow it down. Try to finesse it instead of force it. All right. Got a big piece to work with here. Try to keep this clean to a certain extent. It's not too bad. Ah, yeah. Now we're centered up. I can get a decent opening in here. Sometimes I like to just try things I really haven't been able to do. You know, if you don't push yourself, you're never going to grow. You can spend your whole life throwing mugs or small bowls, but if you really want to grow, you've got to get out of your comfort zone. And again, I like to use that little knuckle. Try to move real slow here. I don't want to get in a hurry. I don't want to rush this. It would be really fun to be able to get a nice big piece out of here. So, it's a lovely day in Arkansas, other than it's been windy for days. And today is not any different. We're supposed to have some rain. I'm trying to get this bottom wider, so you see me pushing down here, and I want to get this foot a little bit bigger if I can. Pull it out from the inside very slowly and methodically. Press that rim a little bit as we work on it. Really got a thick bottom on here. I'm gonna try to continue to pull it out and lower. Go a little bit deeper with it. See if we can, I want to grab a needle tool here and see where we're at. All right, so we're about there. I'm not going to go any lower with that. I may even pull some of this back in to level it out. I don't want it to get too, I don't want to have a thin bottom on it, especially not a bowl that big. I think we're in pretty good shape there. I'm just crossing my fingers on this. I don't know how well this is going to work. Like I say, not my strong points, but I'm getting out of my comfort zone, so. I really want to try to keep this dry. I'm trying to think if there's anything to share other than throwing. I guess when I'm throwing, I kind of focus on throwing when I'm glazing. I must be coming up with stories. Slow this down a little bit. Try to pull these sides up a little bit. Got quite a bit to work with here if I can get it to pull up. I think I may have told you guys, I don't remember if I did, but I went to the Arkansas Pottery Festival a couple years ago and met Troy Jackson. Excuse me. He is a wonderful clay artist out of Oklahoma. And he seriously is truly considered a national living treasure by the Cherokee Nation. The man's amazing, and he does beautiful work. If you're ever in Oklahoma City, go over to the Cowboy Museum, which has got some really great artwork in it. But Troy, I believe, has a couple of pieces in there. And I have one of his pieces that during that show he was throwing pieces and just sitting them off to the side, and I saw somebody a lady go up and she got one of them. And I thought, what the heck? So I went up and got to talking to him and then asked him, I said, what are you doing with these? And he said, well, he said, I gave that one to somebody and they never came back to get it. He said, do you want it? And it was a nice little canister jar. I've got it up here on the shelf, and if I get a chance, I'll throw it in here and show it to you, but he had a lid for it and everything. He was actually handing it out to the crowd and letting them pass it around and carve on it, because he does a lot of carvings, a lot of neat Indian type carvings and stuff. He does, like I said, just beautiful work. He does a lot of sculptures, which are just gorgeous, which is one of his pieces he has in the Cowboy Museum. So when he asked me if I wanted it, and it was still wet, I said, heck yeah, heck yeah. I grabbed it, wrapped it in plastic, and put it in my car. And it was unfinished, completely unfinished. And so what I ended up doing is I took it home, and I ended up finishing the carvings on it myself, just kind of what I thought, kind of like he did. I put a handle on it like he does, which is kind of like a bird's claw on this one. And I fired it in kind of a, I think I used probably some kind of a Shino glaze on it. And it's kind of weird because the glaze, it's almost, I've never had a piece do this, but the glaze almost was peeling off of it like paint. I have no idea why. But I have a Troy Jackson piece. I have a photograph of him throwing the piece to prove that Troy Jackson threw it from when I was there. But like I say, he was a great individual, willing to share his story and his skills. And he was someone that went back to school later in life to the University of Arkansas and got his master's degree in art. And it's just like I say, he has a real story about how he got to where he is today with art and feeling like God led him to that. So this is starting to get it to move a little bit. Going to be a big piece. It's not turning out exactly like I had in mind, but I haven't finished it here yet. See what we can get out of it. Oftentimes, and I don't know if you can see this or not, I'm gonna try to lean this up. Kind of in my bottom where I've been trying to get the, I'm gonna use this spatula because this spatula can kind of level that out. I kind of like that in it, but I also want to be able to get it to be real consistent across. And I still just love this spatula so far as putting pressure on it from the center. And I'll put pressure to the left and raise the outside a little bit higher. And it just pushes that clay and it gives me a nice flat bottom. And I might have to go across there a couple of times with it. But it's just a little tool that works for me, and you might give it a try, see if you like it or not. Not quite liking that. I'm going to use a wooden rib here with a square edge on it to really work that bottom, wet it good, and try to get it the way I want it. It's a little high in the center, and I don't want that. I want to push that on out to the edges. Took a little bit off of there. I think we're good. I think that kind of did what I wanted there. We got it where we're at. A little bit more level. And I really don't want to put any more water on this if I can keep from it. Kind of throw it a little bit dry. If you've ever kind of tried to throw it dry, the tips of your fingers, you'll get the feeling. Because this will collapse on me. This clay is wet, and if I get too much water in it, you know what it will do. It will decide it's not clay, it's mud. But that year when I was there, Clay was throwing Troy was throwing these huge bowls. And he would just take a chunk out of a bag, never wedged it or anything, just cut a piece off, throw it on the wheel, center it, and then throw this big old bowl out of it. And my wife asked him about that. He's like, do you not wedge that? No. He said, if it's off center, I'll fix it later. It's like, he had the skill to do that. This is a pretty bowl, pretty big size bowl. I want to try to get it, I still want some size on it, and I don't want to get too much, but let's see what we can do here. Y'all bear with me in my rambling and throwing. I'll try to start bringing it out some now at the top. I have to put just a little bit of water on it, not too much. A little bit more like what I'm wanting here. And then I'll get a rib after it. I really recommend these Mudtool ribs. And I'm telling you about that red one, that little soft red one here. On the inside of a bowl, this thing is the king, as little as it is, but it's a soft rubber. And it really works for shaping from the inside out. Getting that curve on it, drying it up, pulling that slip off that needs to come off of there, all that dampness. And it kind of compresses it too, so. I'll put a link in the bottom of this video to these ribs. And another thing is the throwing sponges. And I use them occasionally. I haven't today, I've been using this old sponge. With these throwing sponges and shaping sponges that they make, these things last forever. I guarantee you I've had that for 5 years and that thing still is very usable. All right, let's see where we're at here. Still pushing it. I just want to go so easy. I'd like to get a little more height and not lose it. But I am the king of wanting just a little bit more and then ruining it, so. Pretty nice. The one thing I hate is shrink rate. Don't y'all hate shrink rate? You know, if this bowl would stay this size, I think we'd all be happy. But that's decent. Still want to come out with it without ruining it. But we're about to have to call this quits and actually have a bowl. I like it. I like it a lot. I think I'll put a split rim on it. Let's see where we're at. Bear with me here. I know that's a 15-inch bat, and I think we're real close to the sides of it. I'm gonna leave it spinning a little bit there. Oh. So yeah, we're about 13 or 14 right now. Do a little bit more shaping. I'd love to have it out a little farther. Oh my. All right, I think that did something there. Where are we at? Yeah, we've got 14 inches or so on this thing. And that's pretty, I like that. Pretty happy with it. I always look at the camera and it does not look that big on the camera. But I mean, this is a Shimpo Whisper, and that pretty much covers the wheel head. So I think it's a nice size bowl. This is the widest bowl I have ever thrown in my life. Just trying to compress this bottom. I don't want any cracks as it dries. Still just shaping and forming a little bit. I know I'm pushing the edge here, but I like what I've got. And I think I'm going to say stop. All right, that is really close. That's a 12-inch ruler from edge to edge. So I think we're close to 14 on it. And then I want to take my little needle tool, and while she's spinning here, I want to split this rim. You take that needle tool and just put it right in the middle there. And that gives you a really neat little, thinking about maybe trying to get a little bit with this without overdoing it, just to widen it. And then we'll use this little throwing sponge to help clean it up. Get a real nice little split rim on that. All right. There it is. I'll probably let's put a little spin in it with our finger. Okay, I did go ahead and I want to share this with you. I put this back on the wheel after it sat for about 30 minutes and just let it dry. And if you've ever heard the term the beginner's hump, there's this beginner's hump, right? And I just knew I wasn't happy with that. And I actually pulled it up one more time and widened it. And then with that split rim, you can see here, I just take and pinch it. And sometimes I'll pinch them all the way around, but I think this one, I may just leave it where it's at. And that is a 14.5-inch bat. And that bowl goes out over the edges. I'm really not sure how, I don't know how I'm gonna trim it, but we'll deal with that after she dries a while and I'll see what I can figure out. So again, there's the finished product.